Welcome in everybody to the Guys Like You podcast, episode 6. It's we took a week off last week. We were a little busy. Apologies. We got Cito with us tonight and AJ. Dun dun dun. PJ may be joining us at some point. He had a little bit of a family matter to tend to today. DeGray's still on dad duty. Tubbs is MIA as usual. And we don't know where PD is. We haven't heard from PD in a while. So, how was everybody's 4th? Everybody still has all their fingers, I hope. Not everybody. Daily Cruise, welcome in over on TikTok. So yeah, it was a hot 4th of July. Hotter than I can remember in a while. It was kind of brutal. I know you had to work, Cito, so that stinks. Oh, AJ, my heart goes out to you. That, no bueno. Not fun at all. So what we're gonna get into first. This kind of goes back a couple weeks. Something I happened to notice at a graduation that made me really think about this is just values that I think were not really instilling, I guess you could say, in young men anymore. And I'm going to tell you what made me think of this. So I'm at the graduation. And it's my daughter's, it's not even a graduation. It's a middle school moving up ceremony. So if you want to be technical about it. So I'm watching this kid. And as a dad, I would never let my son do this. Mm-hmm. It's a moving up ceremony. This kid has a baseball cap on that is barely on his head. Like, I'm talking, he ever so gently placed it on his head. Like, well, I don't even know what the point of wearing it was, but I didn't understand, like, as a parent, how do you let your son wear that to something so formal? You know, like, you got guys in suits and ties, and I know it's a middle school moving up ceremony, but it's the whole point that, like, it's a ceremony in front of 1,000 people, you know, however many people were there, and this is how I just feel like stuff like that gets lost now. Like the occasion and dressing for the occasion gets lost. You know, I've been working with my son and AJ. I don't know. I didn't really talk to you about this, but like I've been teaching him, like, when you meet someone, you look them in the eye and you shake their hand. And introduce yourself, because that's what, as a man, like, that's what you do. You shake someone's hand. And I don't know, I just think that's one of the many things that are getting lost in instilling in young men is just proper etiquette and manners around women, around Daily Cruz. I appreciate the follow, brother. So proper etiquette around women, around the elderly, and I think it's something that we got to work on. You know, and we even see how young men act today out in society. You know, I hate to bring it up, but a young man lost his life. I mean, not a young man, but a man lost his life this weekend because, I mean, for God knows what, there's no justification for anything like that. And I think that as society, we've made it okay for people to think that they can't get their ass kicked, number one. Like, you know, now everybody has social media, so now the whole world sees that you're going to, you know, you got your ass kicked, and that's why everybody wants to go to pull out a weapon now. And you don't know if the other person has one, which is sad. But I just think that that's one thing that gets lost is how to treat other people as a man and how to carry yourself as a man. And like I said, I've been working with my son to try and like, hey, you shake people's hands when you meet them, you introduce yourself, you know, you make sure you talk right in front of females when you're around them. And don't get me wrong, we all sit there and, you know, probably curse and stuff like that, but there's certain things you don't talk about in front of females. AJ, you know, what are you thinking on it? Because I know you got, you know, Junior, and then you got your other boy too.
Right. Speaking of that, the person who died, I actually knew personally.
I'm very sorry for that. You know, I think I remember him from school.
Yeah, he don't. Yeah, he's.
Once I saw his picture, I remember who he was.
Yeah, that's what it was too. I saw the picture and I was like, wow, I remember that guy.
Yeah. He's been like a family friend for a long time on my dad's side. So
my condolences.
And you know, I think it's hard to say. It could be a plethora of reasons, but being the things that's going on nowadays, especially with boys, we should try to raise our boys, like you said, in the best way as possible. Like there's no reason why to not be respectful. There's no reason why you can't take a hand or be polite or say please or say thank you and things like that, let alone, you know, just being freaking terrible in these streets is crazy nowadays. So I think a lot of times it starts from home, you know, home raising, people getting out in the streets. I know we all grew up in that certain area, you know, you think you got to go out in the streets and be big and bad and try to make a name for yourself. A lot of ego stuff in it too. So people try to they try to act so big and so hard when it's not even necessary.
No, it's not at all. Cito?
It's social media. Social media has changed how everything. I think everybody acts. It's generational. Like we weren't doing none of this shit when we were younger.
No, like when we were younger, you got in a fight. It was over with.
Not even that. It's just I was outside from morning till night, and I didn't have phones. Nobody had to worry about us because we would come back in one piece, maybe scratched up a little bit because you fell off your bike or something, but we would come back in one piece every single night before the street lights were on. Yeah,
and it's crazy, and it's like, and when you really think back to it, you're like, man, I used to just take off all day at 12, 13 years old, like gone.
And ride my bike to a different neighborhood to go hang out with a bunch of kids at the neighborhood center.
Yeah, and kids had, like, your parents had no idea where you were. You kind of just told them generally, like, this is what I'm going to do. But you were all over the place. And they just never thought, like, they never worried about you. And we all grew up in the same area, you know. And if you're just joining us, don't let the complexion of my skin make you think that I grew up, you know, anywhere that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I definitely do. We all grew up in the same place. I remember taking off at 8 o'clock in the morning, and like you said, not coming back until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. You might check in at one point. You might hit one of your friends' houses and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm here. Or this is where I am at this moment, you know? And you got to either, you know, get your ass home conversation, or you were like, all right, see you in a couple hours. But you didn't have to worry about walking down the street and somebody doing something stupid. And it's so crazy now to think like how bad it's gotten in our area, and it's almost like everything around is caught up to our area, you know, because you always saw it on TV, the different places and how bad like gun violence was and stuff like that. But it's really gotten out of hand in our area, and it's very sad. And you know, I see a lot of people, like, you know, Snug is a big thing in our area, and they work hard with the kids, and with what I do for work, you know, we have kids that are involved with them, and I see people like ridiculing them, like, oh, well, you know, how'd the war on drugs go? And like, you guys are trying to do the war on guns. Hey, at least they're trying. What the hell are you doing? Besides being a keyboard, you know, hypocrite and these guys are and girls are people that went through the lifestyle that they're trying to get kids out of now. And I props to them. Props to them, they're trying. I just really wish that around here as a community that people would step up and you know and do so and take these young men and mentor them and show them, you know, the way that it should be, not the way that they think it's got to be.
Hear me out. I could be wrong, because I don't know a lot about like extracurricular activities out here, but it seems like a lot of these kids, other than sports, there's not a lot of outlets for them
Yeah,
to do shit and hang out with other kids their age in a calm,
no.
peaceful setting.
no, there's really not. And you know, I know Chet LeConte runs the youth bureau around here, and he does a good job trying to get, and he's been doing that forever, to try and get, you know, people or not people, you know, teenagers and stuff in to, you know, help them get jobs and stay active and stuff like that. But there really isn't. I don't believe we have the Boys and Girls Club anymore. If I'm right, I know.
Like my cousin, and a couple other people do that. The Wilson's Cops for Kids boxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good thing out there. But like, there's really not that I've seen, anyways.
Yeah, and it really is. If you don't do sports, you don't have something to do around here, and it's unfortunate. You know, there definitely needs to be more stuff for youth, and it's not just here; it's in all areas. There should be. You don't want youth involved in crime and youth involved in violence. You got to find something for them to do. It's like you going back to what you were saying. It's not like when we were kids and we could just roam the streets and do whatever. Kids are afraid for
kids night out at SUNY.
Yeah, kids are afraid for their safety now. So why would they be, you know, roaming the streets to just have a good time? Like,
And if there is activities like that, they need to make it more known,
Yes.
well known, so people can actually search and find it. Like
Yeah.
I know there's a free swimming classes my nieces and nephew go to. There's like a free tennis tennis lessons on the Parkway. There's something at the Utica Library where they can go to. So there's things that they can do, but it's not well known. They don't advertise it.
Yep, it needs to be well known, and you need
probably,
to.
and honestly, a lot of these kids probably don't have transportation to get there, and that would need to be figured out too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I'm sure there's something that can be done to get these kids places.
Yeah, and you need to, you know, and a lot of times parents aren't involved. You know, and we see that a lot of parents. I mean, it goes back to, yes, our parents didn't know what we were doing, but now times are different. Like, you should probably know what your kids are doing. You know, I see we've seen recently that there's been, you know, violence and stuff with kids at 1, 2 in the morning. Like, why are they out at 1, 2 in the morning? Like, even when times weren't bad and I was not out at 1 and 2 in the morning, you know, I might go to the midnight bowling, but guess what? Somebody's parents were picking us up at midnight bowling. We weren't roaming the streets. So yeah, I really think that they need to make it more well known, like you guys said, about different activities for kids. And again, parents need to be more involved with what's going on with kids and the activities that they're doing. And if your kid's not playing sports, get them into some kind of sports. Get them doing something. You know, even if it's not sports, like, you know, Tito, I know your daughter's big into art. Like, get them into something. Anything that's going to keep them from doing or falling into the wrong crowd, do it. You know, and it's sad that it seems like a vicious cycle. Like, you know, parents who didn't have good parents turn into parents who aren't good parents, you know. And I always said, like, I always want to be what I didn't have. You know, I want to be a good dad. Like, and you know, I'm 40 years old and been a dad for, you know, 14 years. I'm still learning every day. But you don't just give up on just go do whatever and then act shocked when something bad happens. But I don't know. I definitely think that there's a lot of different factors, but I think social media definitely is the numero uno in the issue. I like to tell my kids that I work with that, like, when we were young, And a lot, again, this goes back to a lot of kids just worry about getting their ass kicked now in fights, so they're carrying guns and they don't know what the other person has. But that's how it all starts. Like, kids don't want to get their ass kicked and let the whole world see them getting their ass kicked anymore. Now it's on World Star.
Bullying is at a different level nowadays.
You can't even get away from it. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And we were able to get away from any issues that we had with other kids by just going home, getting out of school. Now you can't, because even if you don't have social media, even if your kid's got a cell phone,
someone's going to text them something that somebody
said. Somebody's going to text them something that somebody said. Somebody's going to give their number to somebody that shouldn't have their number, and that person's going to start messing with them. There's just no way to get away from it. And it's sad. It's sad. And it really makes you think, like, what's the future of this country going to look like with this generation that's going to be running? I mean, this generation that's coming up is going to be the ones that are going to be our politicians and stuff when they're older, like our mayors and our presidents. And, like, it's like, man, they can't do anything. They can't do anything without the phone in their hand.
Right. It's an addiction.
It's bad. And, I do like, so I was very anti cell phone for my daughter for a long time. And even, AJ, I was anti cell phone for Junior for a long time. But the problem is that now there's so many issues in the world that you want, it's a catch-22. You don't want them on the phone all the time, but you want them to have their phone with them when they got to have their phone with them. Like, if God forbid something happens in school, and they can't get a hold of you, through means of the school, you want them to be able to get a hold of you.
Right.
And that change this year? Don't they have to lock their phones up this coming school year?
I know. Yeah, I believe they put into place that. Yeah, they passed a law that they're going to take their cell phones and lock them up, and then they get them after. I like it and I don't like it. Because again, we live in a different world now than we did when we were kids. And there's a lot of crazy, crazy people in this world. And it's scary. I don't know. I just hope that I hope they have means to handle certain situations that come up that seem to only get handled when kids have cell phones. So. But
I don't know. My kid, you better make sure she has her Apple Watch on her then.
Yeah, and I mean that's the other thing. Like, do you go that route? Say, okay, you're taking a cell phone, so I'll just give him a smartwatch. It is what it is, right?
Right.
There's a tricky thing. There's a tricky thing with those. If they're not on your cell phone plan, though, it's got to be through Bluetooth, and once they're too far, it doesn't connect.
Okay.
So in order for it to work like that, it would have its own cell phone number in a sense. The watch.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. So we kind of got off a little bit on that was almost like one of our grinds my gears rants. I've seen a lot coming into, the new job, and I've met, several young men who hopefully are going to be turning their life around. And you see both sides of it. You see the side that doesn't have a good home life and doesn't have a good male role model, I guess you would say. And then the ones that do, and I just think that it's hard, and it's very lost on even moms of how hard it can be to raise a son on your own. I mean, nowadays, I think back in the day when we were kids, was a lot easier, I would say. But I think nowadays, with everything that goes on in the world, I think it's a lot harder to not have a positive male figure in your life for young men. AJ, you were raised by your mom due to certain circumstances, and I was raised by my mom, and I think they did a good job. But nowadays, it's hard to not have a guy, some male figure in the life to show these young men how they got to act. And when God forbid, sometimes when they do have a male figure in their life, they're shown the wrong way how to act.
Right. Yeah, it's all about leading by example. A lot of people,
100%. And I think we had this conversation a couple weeks ago about that. When it came to
Right.
sports, just in how parents act on the field in sports. Like, you act like a fool, your kids are going to start acting like a fool.
Yeah.
So, all right. That was a kind of a little bit of a deep topic, I would say, when it comes to young men right now. So I know this is something I've suffered with, and Cito, I know we've talked, and I know you suffer with it, and AJ, I'm not entirely sure if you do, but anxiety with guys. I think I see more now men talking about having anxiety, being anxious, and than I ever did as a kid growing up, or even as in my 20s and 30s, which I think is good. You definitely got to talk about it, and we've had several conversations, Cito, where we gotta calm each other down.
Right.
AJ, I don't know, is this something that you deal with?
Not really. Not really. I mean, I grew up in a very, very strict, religious household.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they try not to say anxiety is I think, but it's real. It's
Mm-hmm.
real. So I never really experienced anxiety, and I really had anxiety or anything. So no, not really.
So, Cito, what do you what are some things you do to help get through it besides talking to your best friend?
Like with me, like a lot of times I can tell when it's gonna happen, or when it wants to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to drink as much water. I try to breathe different. I mean, a lot of times I can stop it, but sometimes you just know, like, oh, this is gonna be a shitty one.
Mm-hmm.
But and honestly, video games, they calm me down so much.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree with that. So I I think it's funny because you always see these different memes and stuff. They're like, oh, you want to get stress relief, but you want a game that you're gonna yell at. It's different. It's different. Like when we get on and we all play games together, like that's our going out to the bar now, And
yeah, because I don't do that shit.
Yeah, and I did that a lot when I was younger. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But to
and
me,
it goes to the point about you can't trust nobody anymore.
Yeah, and I think gaming is a big stress relief for not just men but for women too.
Not even that. A lot of men and a lot of women don't like it though.
And you can. I saw something the other day. It said when you go to a video game, you're in a different world. Yes, you're playing with your friends and stuff, and they'll judge you on the decisions you make in the game. But you're in a world where you're a character that nothing else is judging you, and the outside world doesn't matter at that point. I mean, yes, we all have responsibilities outside of gaming and stuff like that, and sometimes it takes you away from it. But you don't have that. Like, you're not thinking about the stressors of life. You're literally thinking about what you're doing in the game. And yes, that can stress you out in a different way. However, it's not the same as real life, And so I did have very bad anxiety at one point, and I think I still do it sometimes. I'm one of those, I need to handle the situation in the situation. I can't let something fester, And it could be good, it can be bad. If you say, hey, I got to talk to you, guess what? We're talking. We're not waiting 3 hours from now. We're not waiting 5 minutes from now. We're getting this done now. Because that's just how I've always been, and I get super, super anxious no matter who says that to me. Like, my anxiety goes through the roof. And I don't know why. Mm-hmm. But I'm very, like, it's got to be done in that moment type thing, because it will drive me insane to sit there and ponder about what's going on. I have found in the last couple of years, meditation has helped. I did find a really good meditation thing on YouTube that I will actually link in the description on YouTube when I do post this, that is amazing and helped me a lot when I had anxiety. And it has, like, there's been times when I was working at the old job and I was heading to work and my anxiety was through the roof, because with that job, you just don't know what kind of day you're going to have. And I would literally throw it on in the car and, obviously you can't close your eyes and stuff, but go through what it would tell you to go through on the way to work, and it would help tremendously. And talking about it helps. Like, as a guy, man, if you got anxiety and anything, like, anxiety leads to depression, like 100%. So talk about that shit. Like, talk to your buddies about it. Me and Cito bounce stuff off each other all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I still take anxiety medication. I take them before I go to bed every night. And when I don't have it, I'm anxious. Like, I'll be up all night just thinking about. Yeah, I'm up all night, like, thinking about the dumbest shit. Like,
it's so annoying.
Yeah, like, your mind's just going 100 miles an hour over nothing. Definitely talk about that stuff. Talk to, if you don't want to talk to your buddies or your family, go talk to somebody. Man, there are people out there that this is what they get paid to do, and they're very good at their job. Like,
some of them are expensive, but
yes, some of them are very expensive. But, like, the day and age of you got to be this tough guy and you can't talk about your shit is done and over with. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place to talk about it, and you just do it when the time is right. But don't hold that shit in, man. Too many guys, let it fester and end up doing dumb shit to themselves or dumb shit to somebody else, and it's not worth it. Jesse, thank you for likes, appreciate it. So, video games, yeah, sports was always a good outlet for me as a kid. Even as adults, man, there's plenty of different things that as adults you can go do sports wise. I mean, I can't do that shit anymore. I'll fall apart, but it's just find an outlet, embrace it, find people in your life that help you embrace that outlet. And, if it's video gaming, we do this podcast once a week. We game the rest of the week. Like, if that's your outlet, let that be your outlet. Everybody's got something. And don't let anybody tell you that what your outlet is can't be. It needs to be an appropriate outlet. Like, don't go to the bar and get, shit-faced drunk or anything like that. But, like, this is a good outlet for some people, male and female. So,
I agree.
Always trashing the joint right now. So, I did want us to give a new section topic this week. So now, this is going to be our grinds my gear section. We each got something. It's kind of like the Peter Griffin thing that really grinds my gears. Cito, I know you were excited for this one. AJ, I'm going to let you go first, though, because I know just just the other day when we were having a conversation with Junior, you had to deal with some other stuff. So I'm sure you've got some grinds my gears things.
Too many.
The floor is yours.
Okay. As adults, right? We may not have children. We have bills, right? We got to pay our mortgage, rent, our car insurance, car payment, whatever.
Mhm.
I hate that as adults, what grinds my gears as adults, people just are so lazy nowadays. They don't work. They don't they don't have any ambition to do anything. Or they get a job and they just
They don't
stay
do
at the
shit.
same. They don't do nothing. They stay at the same level. They don't want to move up. They don't want to learn. They don't want to grow, and that really pisses me off because we all bust our ass. We do our job. We learn. We grow. We want to be better. Obviously, we work. We want to make more money, right? And there's
Mhm.
opportunities out there to make more money. I hate when people really are just so lazy, just want to do the same thing every day, just fly by. That really pisses me off. It's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how people want to live their life like that. Just stay the same, be consistent, live off. You can do so much better. You can get that nicer car. You can get that nicer apartment. You can, and I'm not saying live above your means, but you can do more things to learn and grow and obviously make more money. But they just want to sit there and do nothing all day. It really pisses me off.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the problem with the world we live in right now is that people just want shit handed to them. And don't get me wrong, there are people who need the help, and there are people who deserve it. Then you got people like you're talking about that just want to be lazy and don't give a shit. So yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I knew that's where you're gonna go after the other day, so I figured I'd give you the shot.
Right.
Jesse,
It's crazy, man. We do work.
don't do it. I see you in the chat. Don't do it. Cito?
We're working 50, 60 hours a week, 7 hours. I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cito?
I'm gonna be real. I ain't think of nothing because you threw this at me a little while ago. But you go and I'll think of something.
So I guess I would kind of piggyback off what AJ said. That's a big thing with me is like I don't understand how people are complacent in their life to have the bare minimum and not want to do better for themselves and better for their families or anything like that. I mean, that's just a piggyback off ages. You know what I hate more than anything? I'm not a big phone talker person, number one. I just hate talking on the phone. When someone calls my phone 900 times, like, I get it. I saw you called. You don't need to call me 400 more times after that. I can't stand that. Like, call me, leave me a voicemail, I'll get back to you. Text me afterwards, that's fine. But when you call me that many times, I literally want to smash my phone. There's nothing more annoying than seeing, so many missed calls from one person. It's insane. And I don't how do you have that much time? And if it's that important, like, yes, shoot the text afterwards. And then if you don't hear back, then so be it. But stress the importance of it in your voicemail or your text message. But if you call me that many times and you don't leave me a voicemail, or you don't text me, I'm gonna lose my mind on you. That's my big thing. And ugh, I could just, and this is work related. Like, stop calling me. Like, Jesus. Yeah, I would say that. That's for sure. Infidel, what's up, man? I'm glad you finally made it.
To be fair, I'm gonna piggyback off that. My phone is not for you to call me. There's a few people that I will talk to on the phone, but text me.
Yeah,
Just text me.
Yeah, just text me. Like, fool, I call you, you don't even answer. So I just text you. And I know when you're not paying attention. Yeah, so I hate talking on the phone. So I know when you're not paying attention to your phone. Like when I'm coming to pick you up and you haven't answered me, then I'm gonna call you. But other than that, I'm texting you. You know. Ugh. Jeez. I just don't get it. Like, people just love to talk on the phone.
I saw this meme the other day. It was like, I hate when people call my phone. It's not for that.
I love it. Oh, man. Jesse, I'm calling you back now. Don't you call me. I will right to voicemail. That's where you're going. Right to voicemail. So I don't know. I know that our last topic is going to be one that I think we're going to be on for a while. I know we kind of moved through the other two fairly quickly, and that's what happens when you only got three of us because the rest of the guys are MIA. So we might do a shorter show today because, like I said, I think that last topic is going to go for a while because I have very, very strong opinions on that. So I don't think I've ever dealt with this. Maybe I did and I didn't realize it. Male postpartum, and I didn't hear about this till recently. And I guess when you look at what they say it is, I guess it kind of makes sense. So just reading real quick, what it says: men can suffer from postpartum depression, which is often associated with a new father experiencing depression after their partner's pregnancy, anxiety, sadness, fatigue, due to the changes in the sleeping patterns and stuff like that. It's been so long since I had the kids that I don't know if I ever dealt with that. Either of you think you ever had to deal with that?
No.
See, I really don't, like I said, I don't remember. However, I look at some of the things, and I guess later on, I think we all go through a part as a guy where you're like, am I failing as a dad? Am I failing as a husband? Just the normal, take on the normal things that we as guys take on, coming to work and stuff like that. But it's very interesting. So it says many men usually experience it later on in the first year, whereas women, it only happens in the first 2 to 3 months usually. Feeling disconnected, because the baby and the mother are usually bonding more. It's very, but again, stuff later on that I look at, and I think we've all gone through, is where, financial stress and the relationships with, your significant other and stuff like that. So, I guess you maybe don't go through it in the instance, but at some point you kind of go through it in your own way. It's very, very interesting.
Right. I think I struggle with I have my two older ones, and having Carson, having a baby after not having a baby for so long. I struggle with that. I was like, oh my God, not again. Diapers and bottles, and I'm like, oh my God, I struggle with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, after a certain amount of time with having a child, I mean, we went from Alana to Junior the same way. It was like, holy crap! Like, I don't want to do this again. Like, you're, yeah. I'm everyone's favorite. Hold on, this guy's name in here is y'all's favorite white unk. I am everyone's favorite white unk. Let's get that straight right now. I think that's how it is, and maybe that's why a lot of people try to have kids so close together, is so that they're kind of in the same stages almost. Because man, like once you go from like your kids going to school and then you're starting back over with like kid in diapers, potty training, like that's a lot. Oh, yeah, it's a lot to like, and I don't think you realize like how much of a chore it is to go back through again. Anybody like the Grace right now, this is his first time, so God bless him with the the late nights and the diapers and all that stuff. Nope, not me, not again, not happening.
Not ever.
No, nope, I'm good. I do not. I will gladly change a diaper and hand them back to their parent. Like I don't want to go through it. No, I don't want to go through the late nights of like waking up and feeding and changing diapers and no. I'm over that stage. Especially like now that both kids, I mean, are in school, and AJ, you're about to have, your last school, you got another year. And
next year.
Yeah, so like that's it, man. You're there. I know. You're at that stage of life finish line, So, nope, I'm good. Pass on that. So, like I said, I think this last topic is going to be one that we're into for a while, and maybe we can get some interactions with the chat with this one. So we'll cut the show kind of short this week. Co-parenting and child support. I have a very, very strong opinion on both of these. And AJ, we've had conversations about this before. Mm-hmm. So I want to go on the co-parenting thing. So I think that it can work as long as both parties want it to work.
I'm going to say it like this. There's no reason that it can't work as long as you two make it work.
Yes.
It's only as hard as you make it.
100%. Both parents have to want it to work, and it can't be one way or the other. But it has to be what's right for the kid. Decisions have to be made based on parenting and not based on who's going to look better. Like I'll be the bad guy all day. And I have no problem playing that role when it comes to my kids. But they're going to know that my decisions were made with their best interests in mind. Mm-hmm. And I got both sides of it. I got great co-parenting with, Junior's mom and AJ and my wife, and then unfortunately the other side, it doesn't work out that way. But it is what it is on that end. But you gotta want to do what's best for your kids in that aspect. Too many times I think we see that parents just want and listen, I know a lot of times it seems like dads are the hard asses, and we started doing this show and really changed it and try to give people good advice, like dads good advice, and let other dads see that this is the view. Like there's other people to look at it like you do. And we went through it a couple days ago with Junior. Me and AJ had a conversation with him a couple weeks ago, and he didn't tell us the truth on it. And guess what? Guess who came up with the punishments? Me and AJ. Not me and AJ and Mom and Sam. It was me and AJ, because that's how it needed to be at that point. We had to be the ones to lay down the law of like, hey, this is why this is how it needs to be. And that was one of the very few times I don't think we've all come up with a punishment together, but it was based off of the conversations that me and AJ had with Junior versus the conversations that we all had with him.
Right.
So in that aspect, you know, I mean, that's a perfect example of like, I'm dad, AJ's bonus dad, and we're able to work together for stuff like that. And you know, the girls work really well together in our side of the relationship. And I think that more people, if they really wanted it to work, they can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as I hate to say this, and as much as I hate to say this, and I don't want to piss off any of our female viewers, but a lot of times when the co-parenting doesn't work, it falls on that side of it because sometimes they think the dad's being too hard. But guess what? If the dad's not being hard enough, that's when you get issues that we see out in the streets today. And I really think somebody's got to be good cop, somebody's got to be bad cop to an extent. I know, Cito, I know you have a very good co-parenting relationship. Mm-hmm. We just went to your daughter's, you know, Sweet 16. It was great. And mm-hmm. I wish it could be like that for everybody. It makes life so much easier. It makes it mm-hmm. so much easier. And I don't think it's unfortunate that some people don't get to experience that.
Right.
Because the stress that you get when it's not that easy you don't need that added on to what you already go through. And I know that I can, you know, call Junior's mom or call AJ, or they can do it vice versa, and we're going to figure it out. I mean, AJ texted me Saturday while I was, you know, clothes shopping for Junior, and I was just like, this little asshole, like, I'm going to kick his ass when I see him, you know? But that's the communication that we're able to have. And if more families are able to do that, it's so much easier. You know, Cito, you've been lucky. I think you said that even since you and your daughter's mom split up, you've never had any real issues, right?
No, there's never been nothing. I don't think we've ever fought once.
Yeah. See, dude, you got it made.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah, you got it made. Because, like, let me tell you,
I definitely, not everybody's the same. Yeah, I definitely feel lucky with her.
Yeah,
like it's been really smooth.
Yeah. D, man, I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome, dude. From somebody who didn't have a real dad figure other than my older brother, it's always nice to hear that, you know, someone can look back at their dad and say, hey, that's my best friend now. You know, my oldest son, my stepson, he's in the military, and we butted heads bad. Jesse, you're in the chat, you know, that's his aunt. And we butted heads like crazy. I mean, all out wars. And I love him to death. He's a grown man now, and we talk every day. And we have an amazing relationship now. And sometimes it just takes you getting older to realize the type of person that you had trying to raise you, you know. So I'm glad that you're able to see that when you get older. It's awesome. So, yeah, I know it wasn't all on me, but we fixed it. That's my boy. I love him. So here's my big. This is the one I've been waiting for. And AJ, you know I have a very strong opinion about this. Child support. So here's my opinion.
Be
And
smart. Don't get us. Don't get us canceled yet.
we're gonna get canceled right off the rip. If you are an absent parent, you 100% should be paying child support. Whether you're a female, whether you're a male, you should be paying child support. If you are active in your child's life, Infidel, thank you, man. I appreciate you. If you are active in your child's life, you see your child on a regular basis, you pay for half your child's shit. I know me and my son's mother, we go halves on school clothes. We go halves on doctor bills. We go halves on sports, no matter what it is. If you're doing that, you should not be paying child support. I don't care. Do you know why you should not be paying child support? Because you take care of your child when they are with you. You put a roof over your child's head. You put clothes on your child's back. If you are working with the other person to pay all this stuff, you should not have to pay child support. You want it? Listen, if you cannot take care of your child when they are living with you, if you need the other person's money, whether it's male, whether it's female, in order to put a roof over that child's head, guess what? The child probably shouldn't be living with you then. We know it's expensive. We get it. You wanted to have kids? Kids are not cheap. But to think that you should be draining the other person's pockets to pay for the bills in your house while the child is there is insane, because is the other person paying for bills in their house if they're having to pay for your bills too? If you cannot afford to have your child living with you because you can't afford XYZ, then you should not have your child. Your child should be living with the other person. And I'm sure it's going to piss some people off. But guess what? As someone who's raised his daughter for the last 10 years of her life without an ounce of child support, you don't need it. And I would never ask for it. And again, this goes back to what AJ said earlier. Like, if your situation's that bad, do something about it. Get off your ass, go get a job. Work harder. Because I put in some crazy hours. AJ, you put in crazy hours. CO, you put in crazy hours to make sure that we could provide for our kids, for our families. So why am I sending XYZ to pay for this, but then you need XYZ to pay for that? And again, I might piss off some of the females. I saw a video last week, and this was what kind of got, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, this kind of got me on the topic. It was a divorce lawyer, and it said that men are more likely to walk away from the situation not wanting anything and not seeking any kind of child support, stuff like that, than women are. And I mean, I guess it's, in my experience, I've dealt with a 50-50. If you can't take care of yourself and your child on your own, then you're doing your child a disservice.
You're welcome.
And I don't think you should be draining the other person's pockets to take care of the child when they're with you, especially if that person is active in their life and taking care of that child when they're with them. I know this is a very sensitive subject for some people. So I'm definitely not trying to piss anybody off, but it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how I've seen both sides of it. I've seen somebody just like literally go to drain somebody's pockets, but the second the shoe was on the other foot, it was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't handle that. I can't afford that. Well, then what the hell are you doing? Why is it okay for you? It's like one of those, when it's, I don't know. It's such a touchy subject, man. But I'm so passionate about that. Like, just you should definitely be able to take care of your kids on your own, not have to, rely on someone else to do it. So sorry if I piss anybody off. But see it all? You got anything for that? Or are you gonna let me be the one to get canceled?
I already warned you. No, I mean, to an extent. I mean, I don't know. It's a touchy thing.
So Jessie's in the chat and she said it should be 50-50 if you're not together. I agree. I agree. Pay for, split, school clothes and doctor bills and sports and all that other stuff. But why am I paying the rent in your house?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to pay the rent in your house? I pay the rent in my house. Why it just doesn't make sense to me. Your bills are your bills. My bills are my bills. I don't
So yeah, I get it. I don't want to get into too much detail about my personal situation, but having to be paying for child support and having been paying for child support for the past 10 years now.
Mhm.
Do I believe child support should be a thing? Yes, I do. But I think the recipient should show what they have to spend, what they spend the money on. Because they're not spending the money how they should be all the time.
So let me ask you a question though. Do you think it should be a thing if you're not involved, or should it be a thing if you're involved?
I think it should be when you're not involved, 100%. I do. If you're involved, I believe. I don't think it should be a thing, but it should be 50-50.
Mhm.
I do get that.
100%.
Right. But I mean, being in the system and having to do for it, the person who's on child support, you're gonna lose. You're losing everything. I mean, it's so bad. But I've been in the bad part of it where my kid's mother every year brought me back to court for an increase every single year.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
And she never worked. She didn't go to school. She didn't do anything. But all she wanted to do was increase my child support every year. Like that's crazy. That's where I think they should put limits on it, where people try to take advantage of other people.
100%. 100%. Like, I don't understand how our system can look at someone that just constantly goes to court. Oh, you got a raise? Huh, guess what? So did I. That's nuts.
Right.
But this is the system that we live in, where we just allow things like that to happen. We allow people to live off the system. We allow them to milk, their significant others or former significant others for everything they're worth. For what? And Jesse, you're right. It definitely depends on the situation. If you're not together, so be it. But don't use the child as the weapon to get back at the person because you've been scorned or you just are pissed off. Don't use them to get money out of them so you can go buy clothes and buy makeup and buy all this other shit. Or if you the other ways around, which I was looking at the statistic earlier, and they said that it's most men don't seek child support when they have custody of the child. Just take care of yourself and your child the way you should, and not rely on someone else to do it. Not rely on the child's other parent or the system to do it for them. Because all you're doing is setting them up for failure later in life. Heart goes out to you, AJ, with that shit. That's crazy. I just can't. I miss my calling. I should have been a lawyer.
I mean, listen, I got a lawyer, and even with a lawyer, there's only a certain amount of things you can do.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. So Jesse, that's okay. Like, I get that. So Jesse's saying, what if the other parent works but makes a little bit less and needs a little extra help? That I understand. But there's a difference between like saying, I'm not going to do anything and I want you to pay everything in my house, or, hey, I'm working 40 hours a week, but I just don't make enough to cover it all. Can you help me out with a little extra? That's different. But when you're sitting on your ass doing nothing and relying on the kid's other parent to pay your bills in your house, that's insane. So yes, I 100% agree with that. Like, you know, I would never like let, you know, my kids go without food. And but at the end of the day, I would make sure that my kids, if it had to be, my kids were with me, because that's obviously where they're going to be safe. If, you know, situations were different. If I know AJ, like, you're not going to send your kids to their mothers if the electricity's not on. Like, same thing. Like, you got no food and electricity in the house. Guess what? They ain't going there. And vice versa. I wouldn't expect, if something happened here and I couldn't keep the lights on in the house, we didn't have food in the house, like, I would not expect my kids' moms to want the kids here either. But it's also not going to be on them to rectify that situation, and it shouldn't be on me to rectify that situation, or AJ or Cito or any other guy or any other female on the planet. But yeah, when you need a little help, that so be it. But I'm not paying all your goddamn bills. That's crazy. I'm not putting clothes on your back. No. My kid? Yes. And I feel bad for anybody who's in that kind of situation. And that's what's wrong with our system, is they look at that stuff and they just feed right into it, rather than putting their foot down and saying, nope, go get your ass a job. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure I pissed off some people. I'm sure I'll get canceled now, but it is what it is. So, all right. I mean, we got time. Anybody got anything in the chat they want to talk about? Cito, AJ, anything you guys want to talk about? AJ, big trade. So we'll get off the little topic for a little bit. It's like a 16 trade I just saw in the NBA or something like that last week.
Yeah, it's the free agency started last Monday. Yeah.
They said it was like one of the largest, like, most team trades in any sport or something like that. It was like 6 or 7 teams or something like that.
Yeah, it's been more than that. It's been over that now.
That's crazy.
Over that. It's been a lot. Chris Paul announced his retirement today. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh, yeah, I know who he is. Wow.
Yeah, he announced this is going to be his last year. Just year coming.
No shit. LeBron say he's retiring yet?
Not yet.
He's still not ready to hang it up, huh?
Mm-mm.
Jesus. I couldn't imagine being 40 and doing what he does still. But again, that's why he's an athlete, and I'm a hamburger connoisseur.
Right.
So, Cito, you got anything, bud? Anything you want to talk about?
No.
You want to go shoot some bugs?
I'll go shoot some bugs.
Go shoot some bugs. I feel like there was one other thing, but I can't think of it right now, that I saw that I wanted to talk about, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. See, this is where it's going to bug me. The anxiety will kick in half an hour, because I can't remember what the hell it is. I'll be up all night thinking about it. Hopefully, so next week, I think we got the next 2 weeks we're going to be live, and then we will be off at the end of the month, and then it's football season, which I can't wait for. I'm so excited for football.
Mm-hmm.
I've been taking Junior to the last 2 weeks. We've gone to the varsity lineman camp and working with the lineman coaches there and the varsity players, and it's awesome, dude. And he's like looking at superstars, you know what I mean? Like, he's just that little kid right now looking at the big guys like, damn, these guys are awesome, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's been fun. I can't wait for football.
Right.
Tired him out. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I bet he's probably out, right?
Yeah, he's passed out on the couch. I told him to go upstairs.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. So, all right, boys. As usual, it's fun. You know, we got on 2 little rants there, but always a good time. If you're new and you want to hang out, we do this every Tuesday at 8 over on the Purple app and YouTube, the Guys Like You podcast, and then we also have it here on TikTok. DK, what's going on, man? Yeah, so definitely swing back by next week. Hopefully we can figure out where Tubbs is MIA. We got to put out his picture on a milk carton or something. Like, nobody has seen or heard from Tubbs. Tubbs, if you see this, just let us know you're okay. Don't call me though. Don't call me. Just text me. Tell me.
You know, I make milk carton memes.
Yeah. Don't call me and tell me you're okay. Just text me because I'm not gonna pick up if you call me. Oh man, boys, it was fun. It always is fun. I enjoyed just sitting here bullshit with you guys. So we will do this again next week again. Join us next week, 8:00 here, the Purple app and YouTube. If you're into video games, we stream video games on Thursday and Saturday, which I might do here for a little bit after this. So hang out. And that's it. Infidel, I'm glad you finally caught one, brother. So we will see y'all later. Behave yourselves. Oh, forgot my little thing. It takes nothing to be a good person. It takes a lot to be a piece of shit. So treat people the way that they need to be treated. Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Squito, AJ.
All right, Bo.
Later, fellers.
Later.
All right.